Alrighty, welcome back everyone. So today is the day. We got the global Dokkan campaign GDC set to begin in a few short hours from now, but before it begins, we have a lot of things to talk about. Yesterday we had our special Dokkan Now stream as well as our major data download, and between the two, we got a bunch of information. Obviously the animations and the kit details for our new LRs, but also other super EZAs on the way, a free-to-play team on the way as well, a bunch of new content, a bunch of new battle motions. So much is happening. So today we're gonna go ahead and talk about everything that we know going into the global Dokkan campaign so that you guys do not miss a single beat, because a lot of important stuff is going on right now. They said the GDC would feel like an anniversary level celebration, and boy did they deliver. Honestly, there's so much going on. So yeah, because of all that, this vid is probably going to be quite a bit lengthy. I will go ahead and put chapters in the vid to help you guys navigate. If you guys enjoy the vid in general, show your support, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, comment down below your thoughts. But with that all being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's go ahead and get straight into this because there is so much to talk about. So first thing we're gonna go ahead and do, we'll go ahead and do our general recap on the stream, what it had to talk about. For an hour long, there was a lot of things that they had to show us. So when it comes to the program schedule, in terms of what they showed us on the stream, they showed us a special giveaway for the Dragon Stones and everything, information on new content, social media campaigns, the new characters, which we'll talk about in just a moment, information on EZAs, or technically I should say super EZAs, and they also did the raffle for the Dokkan chances, where if you guys remember, you had special tickets, you could exchange them for special Dragon Balls or like special global Dokkan campaign balls, and if you got lucky, you would be able to win with the raffle and everything. So all that sort of stuff happened. When it came to the special kind of a giveaway challenge right here, the beginning thing right here, so in total from the stream and everything, we'll be getting 50 Dragon Stones for every player for free based off this challenge. So obviously that's really awesome. No one's going to complain about that. That's a free multi for every player to take advantage of. If you want to summon for Goku and Vegeta or Rose and Zamasu, it doesn't matter. This is awesome right here. So obviously a really good start right there. Besides that, we had general information on the the campaign theme. They kind of re-explained what the whole kind of campaign theme is based off. It's a very general theme in the grand scheme of things, so it is what it is. Besides that, they had some other things to list as well. So with the Ultimate Clash right here, so they're doing a special Ultimate Clash for part 1 of the global Dokkan campaign at least, and they are reducing the character limit, but they're also adjusting the fight based off this whole kind of celebration. So I'm curious to see if this is going to be very similar to the 10th anniversary version. A lot of people were not a big fan of that version specifically, so I hope the rewards are a lot better than that time around. Hopefully more Dragon Stones and whatnot, but we'll have to wait and see. So far though, this seems like it's going to be very exciting. Besides that, we also have something very interesting. We have a survey going on for different types of content. So they asked what type of content do people prefer, short battles or long battles? Me personally, I will say I voted for long battles, but I hope they're going to touch on all these different types of content, because obviously all sorts of players love different things, but there is a lot of interesting stuff going on. They also have 2 other polls on the way as well, but those ones haven't been seen quite yet. So we'll see what they have to say, but obviously they're going to design event content based off that. I'm excited to see what they're going to have in store. And honestly, I'm very glad that they're doing this. They need to be in touch with what the player base wants more. I feel like that just makes things a lot easier. I feel like in terms of making things more fun and enjoyable, and the whole game is smooth. So I think this is a really good kind of thing right here. So yeah, just kind of general stuff right here. Obviously, they do mention they're going to be giving us more of these special global Dragon Stones right here. So these can be exchanged for special characters in Baba Shop. I made a separate vid talking about this, so I'll leave a link to it in the card in the top right corner if you guys want to check that out. But obviously, this is a very valuable resource. Everyone should be taking advantage of it because there's so many cool characters, EZAs, super EZAs. There is a lot of benefit from taking advantage of this. So yeah, a bunch of great stuff. They got a special returning campaign. I will go ahead and just kind of explain right here. The thing about this returning campaign, you can get up to 150 Dragon Stones. This only applies for players who have not logged in since basically the end of March this year. So if you've been playing the game since STR Cell dropped in April up to Golden Week and all this sort of stuff right now, you won't get these Dragon Stones. You had to have stopped basically during the same day celebration. So important to understand right there. If you log in from this period right now, which we have 4 days left from when I'm recording this on July 6th, when you log in at this period, you have up to 150 Dragon Stones. If you miss it and you basically log in after that, you'll receive 50 Dragon Stones up to 100 when you complete the mission completion. So you will lose out on basically 50 Dragon Stones. So that's important to note. If you have friends who stop playing for a bit, if trying to get them to come back, have them do so in this time period so they can get as many Dragon Stones as possible. You don't want to miss out on 50 stones because you started a day late or something. So important to kind of make sure of that. Obviously, a lot of players won't benefit from it too much because I feel like a lot of players who are following Dokkan right now are still playing the game, but there's always some people who kind of take a break, so this is going to benefit them. Besides that, we have some general kind of stuff for the campaign. So on July 7th, right, which is going to be tomorrow, they're going to basically shorten the reward boost restoration time to 7 seconds, which is an insane buff, specifically for the 7th. I'm not sure if they're going to do it later as well for part 2 or something. I hope they do, because this is insanely powerful, but Really great stuff right there. Honestly, they're doing a lot of great things for the Global Dokkan campaign, which again, as an anniversary level type of celebration, I'm glad they're putting in these extra kind of efforts, making sure to give us these extra special rewards. Honestly, all really good stuff. We got special kind of mysterious wish orbs right here. This is going to be kind of in relation to like the special days, like where there's a 7. So like they kind of mentioned it right here, like any day where 7 is involved in July, you want to kind of go right here. So yeah, login bonus only available on days that end with a 7. So, like tomorrow, the 7th, the 17th, that's when this login bonus should exist. So it'll be interesting to see what is going to come from this, how much we can get from it. But obviously, I feel like in general, everyone should be playing the game every single day because there's so many things going on, all sorts of like EXP bonuses, reducing like costs for like recovering stuff. A lot of stuff is awesome to go on. Now, besides that, we have a special support campaign. We've seen this before where you can get more medals because of it, but they're going to be making it even better, it would seem, this time around specifically. I don't know if this is going to be the future going forward, but at least for the Global Dokkan campaign, obviously, something important to note, you can see right here Goku's medals. So Goku and Vegeta are the Dokkan Fest. Rose and Zamasu, they are the Carnival LR. So we'll talk about them again, like in greater detail with the animations and the kits and everything in just a moment. Once we finish this whole kind of stream breakdown, if you will, but again, that's awesome. This is incredibly huge. So the 5th anniversary LR, as far as like the Future Saga are concerned, Vegeta Blue and Goku Black Super Saiyan Rose, they're going to be getting limited time character boosts. So for a short time only, I'm assuming up till the end of the Global Dokkan campaign, they will have a buff to their stats. Basically, just multiplicative stat boosts to their kind of passive skills. The rest of their passive is going to be pretty much the same, but those stat boosts are going to be incredible in terms of making these guys do so much more damage, have so much more defensive stats and everything. It's going to do a lot for them in terms of value. Actually, they're active right now, if I'm not mistaken, so you probably have already seen gameplay of them just going crazy. It's really awesome what they got going on here. I hope they continue with this whole limited time scheme, because obviously limited time buffs, they're only here for special kind of celebrations, but still, it's nice to be able to say, oh hey, I got this old Vegeta Blue and he's actually fun to use again. Goku Black, I can't remember the last time I actually used Goku Black and was happy to run him, maybe like 2023. So yeah, I mean, these types of things are really nice. Now, again, it's going to be limited time. It's just stat buffs really, but still really great stuff right there. Besides that, special kind of social media campaigns are still in the works right here. So you can like get up to like 30 Dragon Stones and also some skill orbs and Elder Kais. Very important stuff right here. Obviously, you got to like use the hashtag right here, the Global Dokkan campaign, but this is really awesome what they got going on with the Global Dokkan campaign. Obviously, pretty much like all the kind of key stuff was touched on right there. Next, they go into the actual kind of characters and like all the sorts of arts and everything, which I will say, let me go ahead and just kind of look at the arts again. The art for Rose, this is Rose and Zamasu, of course. Rose's SSR art is one of probably my favorite arts of this entire sequence. Look at this, man. It's hard to see right here. He is exuding badassery. Like, he is so clean. The T-War art I thought was already clean, but then I saw this, I was like, man, I am in love. The aura, I wish I could use like the Dokkan assets for like the aura and everything in the background. That aura is sick. So fantastic stuff right there. Let me go ahead and show the Goku kind of art as well, if I can do so, which I believe, there we go, there's like a nice kind of wide shot right there. So right here, Goku's art is nice and everything, the SSR, the T-War, the LR on both sides. Important to know, because of this right here, I'll say it right now, we'll go ahead, we'll talk about it again in greater detail. Vegeta Blue is not going to be a playable character for this version of the unit, right? Of course, Goku and Vegeta Blue is not an option for a playable option. And then for Rose and Zamasu, you can't play as Merge Zamasu on their side of the card as well. So that's important to know. We already kind of assumed that, but the two fusions not going to be playable. They're just active skills. So, I mean, it's tough. I understand a lot of people are upset about it all, but it is what it is. Honestly, I'm kind of glad. I'll probably make a separate vid talking about it down the line, but for me personally, I'm glad they focus on tag characters being the base sides of these characters. Yes, it's nice to have Vegeta Blue. It's important to have Vegeta Blue, but obviously, if Vegeta Blue is only going to be on one side, like Goku's side, there's no reason to then go to Father Son Gallic Gun, because you're going to want to play as Vegeta with all the cool animations. So there's a lot of benefits, I feel like, to this whole kind of tag setup, the way they're doing it now. But overall, it is what it is. The main thing is the characters, right, in terms of how they look, how they perform. So we'll talk about that in just a sec. But yeah, obviously, I know some people are still not happy about it. It is what it is. All right, the final kind of major thing far as the special kind of stream right here is the Dokkan chances, right? Where again, with those special tickets, we get those special kind of orbs. So this is the winning numbers right here. So two numbers, 7 and 3. If you use your tickets on these numbers, you will go ahead and get Dragon Stones, 15 Dragon Stones per ball that you have that corresponds with these numbers. So obviously, if you went all in on 7, you're going to be able to get up to, I believe it's 105 Dragon Stones. So obviously, like, congratulations to you guys if you won. Me personally, if you guys follow me on Twitter, I said on my Twitter account, I put 4 and 6. I got completely screwed. I got trolled like never before. But it is what it is. I know some people also got screwed, but you know, at the end of the day, we're still gonna be getting a lot of Dragonstones. We should be fine in the grand scheme of things for all the different players. So, you know, it's perfectly fine. Beyond that, there's nothing else when it came to the stream. The stream, again, there was a lot of stuff they covered, but for the most part, you know, all this other stuff is, I feel like, organized better after the day of download took place and everything, and after the Twitter post and everything. So we'll go ahead and look at it from that point on. So we got the stream done. Now let's talk about the creme de la creme, the most important thing going into this whole kind of celebration, which is the new units, right? So we have the units, the kits and everything. We also have the animations. So we'll go ahead and check out the animations. We'll talk about the animations because I've already seen them. And then we'll also go ahead and talk about just in general going on. Also, because we already kind of passed, let me mention, we'll talk about it as well later. The 2 Super Easy A's, or 2 of the 3 that we can look forward to, are Vegeta Blue and Super Saiyan Rose. So I don't want to like ignore it because we already passed it. But the way they're kind of organizing this, they're really making sure to touch on, I feel like, all the key things that they need to do, which is fantastic. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the animation. So this is for, as you can see right there, Champa, the side banner Champa, and Goku and Vegeta. So we'll go ahead and check it out as we go ahead and just kind of talk over. We'll just kind of talk about the animation and stuff. But I will say, for Champa, this is obviously from him when he showed up for the Universe 6, Universe 7 arc. I don't understand why he's here. Because the thing about Champa, and we'll see this when we look at the kits and everything, he has no correlation to either kind of character. Obviously, we start off with Goku here, 12 key. Obviously, from like his moment going Rage versus, you know, Goku Black and everything. I've seen a lot of people say that his animations are not that great. I kind of agree, they're not the best of them all. But I feel like they're very accurate to the anime in terms of the quality, which I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. You let me know. But I still think it's okay. The 18 key, this shot is pretty fine to me. Some like solid stuff overall, nothing too crazy. I do like this whole kind of sequence right here. This part is really nice. I feel like they really kind of tapped in on that really well, the close-up and everything. I think at 2x speed especially, this is gonna look really clean. So obviously you got that. No intro, by the way, worth noting. This is the exchange for Goku and Vegeta. I will say this OST, if you listen to it, this is like some Mario Kart thing to me. I don't know. It makes me feel like I'm playing Mario Kart. Like, so we got the exchange of Vegeta, obviously an STR unit. That is a clean battle motion for me. Obviously 12 key right here. People were hoping Vegeta would look so clean after what happened in 2023. Let me know what you guys think, because obviously this is kind of slow. 2x speed will make it better. That he looks great. He looks really good. The Prince of all Saiyans is getting his lick backs, and he's looking clean as can be. 18 key, the final flash. Look at this final flash. I don't want to. I'm debating if I want to say what I'm thinking of. You know what? Let me say it. They made this cleaner than the original Super Vegeta final flash that they did for like the STR version like a few years back. I think it was like 2021. Like, he's so clean. All right, now we got the active. So this is the active for Vegeta, right? Vegeta side, father-son Gallic gun right here. You see with Trunks. I mean, it's. I like the fade between the two characters. It's a pretty straightforward moment. I feel like they didn't really expand upon it more than what it was, but that's okay. It's still a very touching moment. It's still really nice if you know how to animate it, which they did. It looks clean. But now let's look at Goku, because Goku, I mean, you know what he's gonna do. Vegeta Blue. Look how clean this is. Already aura farming. Vegeta. Look at the lighting, the spirit sword. The only thing I will say is the lighting looks a bit awkward there, but beyond that, look at that. Spirit Sword up the yang, bro, expanded it to infinity. The blue glow on his eye, looking like the Legends, you know, Ultra Art. That is sick. That is sick. Like, and then, oh yeah, I forgot how clean this was. I saw it yesterday and I forgot how clean this was. Yeah, they made Vegito clean. I think them making Vegito clean as much as they did pissed off a lot of people. Understandably so, because you saw Vegito and now you just want more. Like, come on now, we want to see more. So, you know, it is what it is. I think the animation quality overall is really good. Goku could have been a bit better, similar to Vegeta. Like, Vegeta's is really nice, but I think Goku's is probably the most accurate to the anime in terms of the anime quality. Okay, now let's look at Rose Masu, as some people call him. Starting out for Rose with that 12 key. So the quality is going to be a bit better here. Looking really good. I will say, like, for me, Rose collectively has the best animations. Look at this 18 key. The aura, the lighting, the way Rose looks. He looks so polished, and we're still not done. We're still not done because there's, I think, some better shots later. That's one clean shot right there. Look at that. That's fire. This is fire. And then a bit of a close-up just so you can see one of the most badass Dragon Ball Super villains out there. honestly, they hold Goku Black as a character. They should have made him the true final boss. Don't make Merge Zamasu and that stuff. I know some people love Merge Zamasu. For me, I was with Goku Black. Goku Black just made everything feel awesome. This is the exchange right here, showing up the animation for when you can go into Zamasu. OST here, kind of okay, kind of godly-esque, so like, it's fine. Now, we have the active for Goku Black. So Goku Black's active, gonna make him do an attack with Zamasu. They yapping, but they looking kind of clean. It's a bit of a CGI effect, I feel like, here, but you know what? That's a fire POV. The way they made it look good, the way it's coming at us looks so clean. The damage, the impact, the wind, like the waves of everything. This is so clean. Now we're in exchange to Zamasu. Now we'll see Zamasu's animation. So 12 key, let me just say, for a character as boring as Zamasu, like I don't really mess with Zamasu, they made Zamasu look good. Like they really made him look good for who he is. Not the best animations, Rose's looks better, I think Vegeta's is better, but Zamasu is so clean for who he is especially. Like no one cares about Zamasu, Merge Zamasu and Rose, sure. No one cares about base Zamasu, like let's be for real, but he looks really clean. Like they even did the motion blur on his hand. Yep, they made Zamasu look clean. Okay, now we got the Zamasu active here. So the Zamasu active, let's then go to Merge Zamasu for the attack. Looking nice. Obviously not corrupted Zamasu, but just plain old Merge Zamasu. That's a fire close-up shot. This, you can't go wrong with the Blades of Judgment. Like it's a very bog standard move. They've done it in the past. Very nice to make it. However, you look at it, the chaos screen is nice. I wish they added a bit more. It just feels like it was too fast. Vegito's, it feels like Vegito's was a lot longer. I feel like if they added the Divine Wrath, like the special big orange, you know, ball and everything, I feel like that would have been so much cleaner to add that into the Blades of Judgment. It doesn't have to be like the perfect transition. It doesn't have to be like a Dokkan original or anything, but it could have just been so much better. I feel like if it was just a bit longer. So that's just kind of like my thoughts there. Okay, now let's look at the kit. So we'll start off with the side banner Champa. Again, I just don't understand why they did Champa here. I feel like Champa should have been the side banner character for the Golden Week celebration with Hit. Like it just makes sense. Look at his kit. You'll see his kit is meant to work with Universe 6 a lot, which kind of fits what Hit is all about. So there's that. Now, with Champa, so Realm of Gods, Universe 6, key +3, HP attack and defense 130%. So typical side banner lead. Super attack, greatly raises attack and defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy, greatly lowers attack. So attack debuffing, that's actually really helpful, of course, when it can be applied. Not always usable, but still really helpful right there. And also, I mean, attack and defense boost, love that. So with him, right, 166% to his attack and defense, boosting his crit chance and his damage reduction rate by 22%, which is nice for a character who's AGL typing, because AGL, for those who remember, extreme AGL, at 55%, he'll only have additional with his hidden potential system. So built-in crit is nice in terms of making the build a bit easier, especially if you get dupes. So that's nice there. Realm of Gods or Universe 6 allies get key +2, attack and defense 66%. Crazy amount of support for a character just showing up. So Champa, really nice there. When all allies in the same turn are Realm of Gods or Universe 6, another boost to his attack by 166%, boosting crit chance and damage reduction by another 22%, and he's randomly changing key spheres of a certain type other than AGL or physical orbs to rainbow key spheres. Also right here, for every key sphere obtained, he's boosting his defense by 111% up to 666%. Crazy that they stopped at that number, but you know, it's still funny, I guess. So basically 6 key spheres, you'll get the defensive boost for the turn and everything. 6 or more key spheres obtained, which is what you want to strive for anyways. Chance of boosting his crit chance and damage reduction again by 22%. So he can get up to 66% damage reduction and crit chance if we just get these parts of his kit activated with the key spheres and the teammates and just in general. So some pretty straightforward conditions, maybe not the easiest to access, especially like the team kind of composition. If you're a new player, maybe you can't build these teams. However, you should still be capable of, you know, if you have like the global Dokkan campaign banners and everything, you should be able to get a lot of the characters to make this work. So it should be pretty nice right there. And then also, when attacking with 12 or more key, which, you know, you'll probably get when you do the key spheres, he'll be boosting his attack by another 166%. He'll have a 66% chance of boosting attack and defense by 166% chance, and also, or percent chance, but 166%. And he'll also have a 6% chance as well to boost his attack by another 1,666%. So these two are like kind of like separate kind of chances right here. You can get this to proc and not get this to happen, and vice versa. You can get a crazy amount of attack boost, but not get this to take place. So that's important to note. However, when we talk about Champa overall as a side banner character, I really like what he has to offer. Let's think about this, right? Great amount of support, great amount of crit chance and damage reduction built into his kit, and really there's no insane gimmicks other than you want all the allies in the same turn to be Realm of Gods, which is pretty easy to access, and Universe 6, which Universe 6 got a crazy amount of glow up in the Golden Week celebration. So important right there. Key spheres, he's orb changing when this condition is met, so that makes this even easier, boosting his defense for the turn and everything. He's probably going to want to be a slot 2, so you maybe could put him slot 1, but realistically probably want to put him slot 2. He can be pretty good though. Actually, I think I could see him maybe succeeding in certain cases as a slot 1, but it'll be interesting for sure. So this character looks really good. Obviously the link skill is not going to be too crazy. The category is not going to be that crazy. The Realm of Gods is nice. Universe 6 is nice. Dragon Ball Seekers is cool. Space Traveling Warriors is fine. Bond and Master and Disciple is nice to have. Siblings Bond, Planetary Destruction, and Successors. Remember, Successors is a category that is led by the 10th anniversary Gogeta. So you have a lot of cool characters in Successors like Goku and Rose, which we'll talk about in just a sec. You know, Champa being here, that's also really nice as well. Obviously links well with Beerus and everything, so great stuff. And of course, you know, if you pull this character, he does have a free-to-play farmable version of himself with the story mode and everything for that. So, you know, if you do pull this character, you want to build him up, use that to your advantage. Don't waste Kais on him. You don't really have to. Should be pretty straightforward. All right, next up, let's go ahead and look at our Carnival LR. Goku Black, Super Saiyan Rose, plus Zamasu. So remember, starts off as Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black, then you can exchange into Zamasu once the conditions are met. So for the leader skill, Super Bosses, Ki +4, HP attack and defense 220%. Already, a lot of people were very pissed about this. They were saying Super Bosses, such an L category, such a bad choice. Let's first look at this, right? The thing for okay, so for me, Super Bosses has not the best setup in the world, but some good potential in the near future, plus what it has already. So you're talking about the new Goku Black. Plus you have Cauliflower and Kale right here. You have, you know, Dokkan Fest Hit, which is right down here. You have all sorts of different characters going on. And also we're expecting some other buffs in the near future. Obviously we got the temporary buff for, you know, the Super Saiyan Rose. We got a lot of stuff going on. Naturally speaking, we probably are going to get some more, you know, super boss buffs. I don't see why this category can't be pretty damn good in probably just like a few weeks. So I feel like it's going to be pretty nice, but we'll have to kind of wait and see on that. Super attack affects 12 key, greatly raise attack and raise defense for 1 turn, cause colossal damage to the enemy, and lowers attack with the 18 key, greatly raises attack. This is a stacking effect right here, cause mega colossal damage to the enemy, and raise allies' attack by 60% for 1 turn other than himself. So he can be a pretty good support, which honestly, I think that's really nice. We'll see with Goku. He's kind of similar in terms of the support, but just like a bit of a reverse, if you will. But the support, if you guys know me, you know I'm a big fan of support. This art is going ballistically insane, by the way. That's really dope. But I'm a big fan of support, so we'd love to see that. With the passive skill, 200% to attack and defense, receives an additional Ki +2 per key sphere obtained, so really easy there for Ki. Attack and defense 80%, and attacks are effective against all types for allies whose names include Goku Black. So any sort of Goku Black you bring, Super Saiyan Rose, base form, doesn't matter. If they ever add a Super Saiyan Goku Black from like the manga or whatever, they're going to be able to get this support right here, and the attack's effective against all types. So really nice stuff there. Per extreme class ally or future saga category ally on the team, depending on whichever you have more, most likely going to be probably future saga, I will say that. But you know, depending on what you have, boosting attack and defense by 50% up to 150%, and boosting crit chance and damage reduction rate by 20% up to 60%. So really, you only need 3 characters, including himself, right? He is also going to qualify under this. So you really only need 3 characters from either of these kind of conditions to get this to be like basically complete. So important to understand there. Let me also real quick just kind of mention here, being STR type, right? Extreme STR, 55% built-in crit already. So built-in crit, but still having more crit chance, having damage reduction is nice. 60% is really good if you have some other important stuff like guard, which lo and behold, he has guard right here. So when all allies in the same turn are extreme class, or when there's another future saga category ally in the same turn, just one future saga ally, he'll have guard against all attacks. So he can be a slot 1 character with a great amount of stats and everything, but slot 1, 60% damage reduction guard, he can do some work. So that's important to note there. When activating the active or when attacking with 18 or more key, attack plus 200%, launch additional has a great chance to become a super. When receiving an attack, defense plus 180%, and starting from turn 4, he can meet up with Zamasu and do the exchange. So Rose looks really good. I've heard a lot of people say that Rose is the best of all like 4 units, like Goku, Vegeta, and Zamasu and all them. I'm inclined to agree. Having slot 1 capability, having a great kind of support aspect about him, the attack boosting is nice, of course, having built-in crit chance and damage reduction, all like guard, love it. I absolutely love what they got going on here. Now, before we go into exchange and like Zamasu side, let's talk about the active. So the active can be done from turn 4 from the start of battle, be it before or after the reversible exchange. So it can be done when Zamasu is available to be swapped in, right? So same time there. When you do the active, massively raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage. All attacks will become crits, and he'll be a support. He'll be doing buffing. So super boss allies will get attack and defense 15% plus another 10% to their defense for characters also in future saga. So basically all sorts of Goku Blacks and Zamasu and stuff for 4 turns. Once the 4 turns are gone, then this support will be gone, but the rest of this will already be gone by the turn of you do the active. So it does suck that this is only temporary, but still the support can be really clutch, especially in those final few moments, the final few turns in the fight where you just need to get over the hump. You just need a bit more to really just kind of be safe and secure. This can make the difference. So this could be really awesome. And also important to know, the way this works, this will be multiplicative on your allies. So your allies can get insane boosts for the 4 turns just based off that. So, this is kind of similar, I guess, 4 turns, similar to like Super Vegito or Super Gogeta, where they last for 4 turns, similar to this kind of effect right here. Obviously not the same thing, but it's kind of similar in design. All right, before we go into Zamasu, so Rose, he's got big bad bosses, crazy good links right here. Categories, he is on 17 categories right here, and he'll also be able to perfectly or near perfectly link with Zamasu right here, 6 of the 7. So the important stuff there, super bosses is good, Realm of Gods, Patara is nice to have there, Future Saga, Time Travelers, and Human Deeds, Worldwide Chaos, a bunch of great categories. Power Beyond Super Saiyan's fantastic, Kamehameha, Battle of Fate, Fused Fighters, of course, even though you can't play as Zamasu, because the active does have Zamasu, like merge Zamasu and stuff, that means they count for this, so that's important to note there. Gifted Warriors, Successors, fantastic stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and look at Zamasu, finish that off, and then we can go ahead and talk about Goku, because we're taking a while here. So with Zamasu, right, the lyric skill is the same, super attack effects, greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause colossal damage to the enemy, lower defense. 18 key, massively raise attack and defense for 1 turn, so no stacking here, cause mega colossal damage to the enemy, that man is looking clean right there, and recovers 20% HP after doing the 18 key super. So no conditions, you can miss this 18 key super, it could get blocked or whatever, you'll still get the HP recovery, so really good right there. Passive, can perform the exchange right away with Goku Black, so that's fine. Key +7, attack and defense 200%, high chance to perform a crit, built-in guard against all attacks, when attacking, attack and defense +200%, Future Saga category extreme class allies will boost their damage reduction by 10%, and when activating the active or when attacking with 20 or more key, attack and defense increased by another 200%, launch an additional guaranteed super, attack and defense also increased by 300%, performs a guaranteed crit, and recovers 6% of damage dealt as HP when HP is 60% or less. So this is all predicated on you being below 60% HP, which isn't too difficult to achieve, but also it does suck that you're kind of gated, because sometimes you may have a really cracked team and you don't have to worry about HP. In that case, you'll miss out on some really good stats. And if you notice here, Zamasu is really guard and stats, and he's giving some damage reduction rate boost to extreme class allies and stuff, which should include himself. But overall, I mean, the problem with this character, like a lot of people say Zamasu is shit, the problem with this character is he just doesn't have damage reduction. If he had a semblance of damage reduction, maybe not as much as Rose, let's say, but if he had like 40 or 50%, I feel like people will be okay with that. In fact, maybe that'd be too good. Maybe that's why they didn't do that, but the stats are really crazy good. If you get dupes on this character, Zamasu is going to be eating maybe more good than like Goku Black is. That's important to kind of understand conceptually there. So really interesting kind of kit design. I think Zamasu is going to be fine still, but you know what it is. All right, Birth of Fusion Zamasu. So this is the active, so can be done upon entering the attacking turn. So again, right away when you swap into Zamasu, massively raise attack, cause ultimate damage to the enemy, key +4, and attack +40% for the rest of the fight. So this will be a permanent buff. Honestly, I think for the most part, you should go for this. There are a few situations, I guess, where if you're running the Super Boss's team or such, maybe you'll want to go ahead and do the Goku Black version. But I would say the Goku Black active is really good only when you're like near the end of the boss fight and you just want to make sure to get that extra kind of safety notch. Like that's the only kind of situation. Other than that, if it's a long fight or anything, I would say go for this. Like I'm curious to see how this character can perform in festival battles. I don't think they're going to go be like crazy good, but this could be pretty awesome in terms of just the long-term impact and a long fight like that. So we'll see. The Link skills, Big Bad Boss is still there. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. One thing worth mentioning, there is no way to farm the super attack level for this character that is free to play. The only way is through summonable characters or through Elder Kais. So you will have to use your Elder Kais on this character specifically, but it is what it is. Like we don't really have a choice in the matter. So just important to note there. Now though, let's go ahead and talk about the real big kind of enticing character for a lot of people, which is Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Goku, and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. I should just say Super Saiyan Blues. So leader skill, they are the Dokkan Fest, of course. Future Saga or Fuse Fighters, Ki +3, HP plus 200%, attack and defense 170, plus an extra 50% to stats for characters in Bonded Parent and Child or Final Trump card. That art is looking so sick. Why is Vegito not playable? Sometimes I wonder, but you know what? It is what it is. Super attack effect, greatly raise attack and raise defense for 1 turn, cause cost damage to the enemy, lowers attack. Basically, you know, pretty similar to like Goku Black, right? You know, very similar there. 18 key, greatly raise attack, cause mega cost of damage, raise allies defense by 60% for 1 turn other than himself. So, you know, similar to Goku Black, able to stack attack and everything, but that defensive support, that can be really clutch, especially, you know, for just making sure other allies in like slot 2 or slot 3 can survive. That can be very important there. So definitely got to pay attention to that. Attack and defense 200%, basic effect, receives additional Ki +2 per keys for obtained per superclass ally or future saga category ally on the team, which has more members. Attack and defense plus 50% up to 150%, boosting dodge chance and damage reduction by 20% up to 60%. So let's look at Goku. STR, just like Rose, which is kind of interesting that both of them are STR. But for Goku, having built-in crit with his 55% hit potential system again, built-in dodge and damage reduction is actually really nice because damage reduction should help you tank, 60% is nice. If that doesn't work, you can still dodge. So the combination of that is really nice. Again, you only really need like 3 superclass allies or 3 future saga allies for this to work, but pretty simple. When all allies in the same turn are superclass, or when there's a future saga ally in the turn, boosting dodge chance by 20%, boosting damage reduction rate by 10%, and launch an additional super guaranteed, which, you know, it can lower attack and everything and boost his stats. So really nice. I like it. 80% dodge, 70% damage reduction. Pretty cool stuff. When activating the active or with 18 or more key, attack plus 200%, attacks effective against all types. When receiving attack, defense plus 180%, and from turn 4 can exchange with Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta. With his active, so the Potara, the Fusion, Vegito Blue, raise attack by 300% temporarily, do ultimate damage, attack and defense plus 20%, and can nullify attacks that are guaranteed to hit, making it possible to evade. So this fusion, this active skill, can do what Tech UI can do, where it can re-enable dodge when dodge is being cancelled because attacks are guaranteed to hit. So that is incredibly awesome, and it can be done from turn 4. Besides that, you know, crazy good link set. This is the real thing that I love about this character. When you look at the categories, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 24, 25, 26 categories that this character fits into. Categorical diversity is insane categorical diversity because of Goku's tags and Vegeta's like categories and stuff, future saga, of course, Fuse Fighters, but also look at the Goku kind of like specific stuff. So like Turtle School, for example, Goku's family. Also, you have things like Vegeta's family, of course, successors, which is a Vegeta specific thing, you know, worthy rivals, siblings bond, which Vegeta has. Goku obviously doesn't have a bond with Raditz, so kind of obvious there, but all these sorts of things. It is insane what we got going on here. Earthbred Fighters, Vegeta's not a part of that, so I love the categorical diversity that exists with this character. Now let's go ahead and go look at Vegeta. So we'll talk about Vegeta and stuff. With Vegeta, so he is going to have the same lead again. 12 key, greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause colossal damage and lower defense. 18 key, massively raise attack, raise defense for 1 turn, cause mega colossal damage to the enemy. So really awesome stuff that he has to offer as well. With the passive, can perform a reversible exchange, of course, Ki +7 attack and defense 200%, high chance to perform a crit, high chance to dodge, 40% damage reduction, Ki +3, and attack and defense 80% for the character and allies whose names include Trunks. Doesn't matter, I don't believe it matters if it's like Future Trunks or Kid Trunks, but just Trunks. As the 3rd slot unit in a turn, attack plus 150% performs a guaranteed crit. With 18 or more key, boost attack and defense by 250% plus additional guaranteed super, and when activating the active or with 20 or more key, boosting defense by 150% and launch another additional super right there. So I mean, when I look at this now, like re-looking at this, Vegeta and Zamasu are very similar in design. Same thing can be said for Goku and Goku Black, which actually I will say it is kind of cool that Goku and Goku Black are very similar in design, considering they're both technically Goku, but Zamasu is obviously Goku Black. But it is very interesting how similar they are. Now, I do think Vegeta is going to be the better version between him and Zamasu in that respect. And obviously, the thing is, Vegeta, some people have been giving Vegeta a lot of flack. He is kind of meant to be slotted off, which does suck, but you know, for a character who's meant to be slotted off, that means Vegeta has a lot of safety overall, unless you're deliberately trying to put him in slot 1 and stuff, which you can do because he's not missing out on any defensive stuff, just attack. But he's meant to be slot 3. That's what this is kind of like suggesting right here. So I think in that respect, you know, as a slot 2, slot 3, this character can be still really strong. So nice stuff there. Active skill. So massively raise attack temporarily, cause ultimate damage to the enemy, guards all attacks guaranteed. Future Saga category allies attack and defense plus 15% plus additional 10% to defense for characters who are also in bond of parent and child for 4 turns. Can be done once entering the attacking turn. So, same thing as Zamasu, but here's the important thing to know. Again, the support like Goku Black, the guards all attacks will apply to Goku as well as Vegeta. So if you're like, hey, I like Goku more in slot 1, I need him in slot 1, you do this active, you go back to Goku, and Goku will guard in like no problem in slot 1, which is really great right there. Because when we go back to Goku, I remember with Goku, if we can go ahead and just kind of segue back over to him real quick. There we go. So Goku does not have guard. He has damage reduction, he has dodge, but no guard. Having that guard will make him even tankier, right? 60 up to 70% damage reduction plus guard. That's tanking a lot. If the dodge is not working, the rest of it will. So I really do like how they kind of design these characters. Honestly, it's a really well done job. Now with Goku, let me not forget to talk about this. So the good thing about this character is that there is a free-to-play farmable way, which is this specific Goku right here. Now there are other versions, but these are like 5th anniversary and stuff. You don't want to go for them. This is the Goku you want to go for. So the way to find this character, let me just go ahead and show you guys. You have to go to the special kind of story quest for the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Obviously you can see right here, you get the AGL base Goku, you awaken him, and he becomes Super Saiyan Blue, and you can use that to farm the super attack level. Now, it is a tedious process and it's not going to be the most fun, but it does mean you can save Elder Kai. So if you guys wish to do that, take advantage of it. Why not? Like, it's right there for us. We can do that, of course. Also, I didn't even realize, but he is linking really well with also the tech gods. That's a really massive buff. Int Namek Goku, Cell Saga Gohan and stuff, Family Kamehameha Gohan, Tech Vegito even, AGL Gogeta. Yeah, this character is linking with some dogs. He's linking with some beasts. So I'm excited to see how he's going to pair with the tech gods. That's going to be a very beautiful kind of combination there. But yeah, so that's the important stuff right there to talk about. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Super Easy 8. So, we already kind of mentioned it, but let me just kind of recap here for you guys. With the data download, we got a bunch of things going on right here. For the Super Easy A's, we have 3 of them. We have Rose, we have Vegeta Blue, and down here, we have Goku / Zamasu, right? Goku with Zamasu inside his body. So those are the 3 Super Easy A's we got going on so far. We'll talk about when they're going to release in just a bit, but with the Super Easy A's, let's go ahead and just kind of like start talking about them. So the first one here is Zamasu, like Goku, right? So with the Easy A, let me make sure the Easy A is triggered. There we go. So time travelers, the Super Easy A is not going to change the leader skill, so that's whatever. The super attack effects is the same as before, lowering attack and defense, cause colossal damage, raise attack and defense for 1 turn, that's it. The passive is the big update. So attack and defense 159%, orb changing physical to STR, launch additional has a high chance to become a super. He's reducing super class enemies attack and defense by 30% and boosting extreme class allies attack and defense by 40%. For 4 turns from the character's entry, 20% damage reduction when there's a future saga enemy or when all allies in the same turn are extreme class. He's boosting ki, boosting crit chance and damage reduction by 40%, so 60% total right there with damage reduction. Launch additional super, so that's again for the 4 turns, but still 60% for the first 4 turns is pretty good. For every attack receiving, boosting his ki up to 10%, which, or not 10%, but 10 ki, which is great for an LR. 12 or more ki, 159% to stats. 18 or more ki, 159% to defense specifically there. And when the targeted enemy is like HP is 59% or less, or they're debuff with attack down or defense down, he's boosting his attack by 159%, performs a guaranteed crit, and after you deliver a final blow, which is still a very difficult condition to meet at times, but when you do so, he's boosting attack and defense and dodge chance by 59% for the rest of the fight. This is actually pretty stupid strong, like really stupid strong, because basically this is for like, I believe this is just like consistently triggering, like, so like if you're doing like a multi-phase fight, like 10 phases, each phase that you do like a final blow with this character with, you should be able to boost your attack, your defense, all that sort of stuff. So he is pretty stupid strong. I don't believe it does apply to the dodge chance. I may be wrong there, but the rest of it, he's a crazy decent Super Easy at minimum for a free-to-play LR. So like, guys, farm this character. I still need to farm him myself. We all got to make sure to get this character because he's awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about our next one up, Vegito Blue. Now, I've heard a lot of good things about this character. Some people have been saying this guy is basically just Super Vegito from the 10th anniversary, but done right in terms of like the Super Easy from back then. So let's look at this character. So Obviously, the super class lead and everything, you don't want to run that. Super attack effect, raising attack and defense is nice, but the passive. Key +2, attack and defense 200%, 20% flat out damage reduction, launch 2 additional attacks, each of which has a 50% chance to become a super, orb changing of a certain type other than physical orbs to rainbow key spheres, when attacking, boosting attack and defense by 150% for every attack performed, boosting attack by 30% within the turn, so he can do some pretty interesting damage, like multiplier kind of stuff right there. When receiving a normal, increased damage reduction by 60% and counter and everything. When receiving a super, high chance, 50% chance to dodge the enemy's attack, and chance of evading increases by 30% temporarily when HP is 70% or less. This is not, for one time only. Basically, anytime your HP is 70% or less, he will have up to an 80% chance to dodge when facing a super, which is so clutch. A big issue with Vegito Blue in the past was he could handle normals okay-ish, but he could not handle supers. Now he has an ability to handle it, but you have to dodge. If you don't, it's GG's. But that is still so powerful. When all allies in the same turn are super class characters, or when there's another Future Saga ally, attacks are effective against all types. And look at the support, 40% to attack and defense for super class allies for 2 turns, and 40% to stats for extreme class allies for the turn that he shows up. So he doesn't even hate on the extreme class that much. Can we talk about how good this is? This is actually incredibly strong. I am excited. This could very well become one of, if not potentially, the best super EZAs. And the reason why I say potentially the best is because, when you look at his team, he can link with some pretty cool characters, of course, that, would be beneficial. So I think I really like the potential that this character has to offer. Vegeta Blue with this super EZA, really cool stuff. Let's keep going, because, I know there's a lot of stuff we're talking about here. There's so much going on. Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. Honestly, for me, and I believe a lot of people will agree, on release, he was the better of the 2 characters between him and Vegito Blue. It just felt like Rose was better. But let's see what he can do now, right? So, extreme class lead, not going to run that. Super attack, greatly raised defense for 1 turn, greatly lower defense, so it is what it is. Passive skill, 200% to attack and defense, 20% to damage reduction. All allies, key +3, attack and defense, 30%. No conditions need to be met. You could throw him on the most random what the heck team that you have, and he will get that support. Launch additional guaranteed super, which is nice when receiving an attack, boosting his defense by 200% and boosting it by another 100% when HP is 70% or less for every attack he's receiving. He's also boosting attack by 60% up to 300% and boosting his crit chance by 10% up to 50%. So basically, for these 2 pieces, you want to get up to 5 attacks received, and then for the rest of the fight, you'll have that complete. And right here, for every attack received, he's boosting his damage reduction by 25% within the turn up to 50%. So 2 attacks to get 50% damage reduction, which can be pretty good. So it's, it's nice there. When all allies in the same turn are extreme class or Future Saga, or when there's another Future Saga ally in the same turn, guards all attacks guaranteed, and he's boosting, super class allies crit chance by 20% and crit chance for extreme class by 20% for 2 turns. This kind of sucks. Compared to Vegito Blue, he's giving some nice support there, so I guess that makes up for it. But this is, I hate crit chance support. It's nice that it's permanent, it's never going to go away per se. But crit chance is not as important as key or as stats or damage reduction and such, or dodge chance. Crit chance is okay, but it's not the quintessential thing. So that's kind of a personal gripe for me, but it is what it is. Beyond that, not really much to say about there. I think Rose is still going to be pretty cooking though. So, that's really awesome right there. Let's keep going. So let me make sure I'm not forgetting any other important stuff. We still have the content to talk about. Let's go ahead and talk about the last kind of a team right here. So the free-to-play Rose squad. So here's the thing. When we look at the whole kind of Dokkan info stuff, you see there are 10 different Rose Goku Black clones. Now, 2 different versions of each typing and everything. The 2 versions of the typing, so the 2 STR type characters, they have the exact same kit. Carbon copy, copy pasted, no difference whatsoever to the stats, to the abilities, to the links. No difference whatsoever. So STR is the same there, physical is the same there, int is the same there, tech is the same with each other, AGL is the same with each other. However, we can get all 10 of these characters, which is very interesting, especially because, 5 of these Goku Blacks have the exact same silhouette, so not really original for a few of them. But anyways, we'll be able to get those characters. There will be an event for that, so we can look forward to that. Let's go ahead and just talk about what these guys can do. So with the physical clone right here, so both physical versions of the Goku Black clone will have the same abilities. All types, keep +3, HP attack and defense 50%. Raise attack, so stacking attack right there, it would seem. Massively raise defense for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy, and a 50% chance for the super attack to transform to do even greater damage. As the 2nd or 3rd slot character in a turn, orb changing into physical orbs. Per Future Saga ally, he's boosting attack and defense by 40% up to 200%, and boosting damage reduction by 6% up to 30%. Also, per Future Saga ally whose name includes clones, so when you run him with the other clones, attack and defense also increased by 20% up to 100%, and he's boosting his damage reduction again by 4% up to 20. So that can combine to 50% damage reduction. When the team includes all 5 extreme types, he's boosting attack and defense by 150%, giving all allies defense plus 30% for 2 turns, 1 physical orb, and he'll get guard against all attacks. So 50% damage reduction plus guard, pretty good for a free-to-play character. The stats are probably not going to be as insane, of course, but the rest, like the stats are like, okay. But the kit itself looks really damn good. And what 12 or more key, attack and defense 200%, attacks effectiveness all types, all this is looking really good. And big bad bosses too. Like, this is crazy how a free-to-play character is designed this well. Like, he actually is so fire. So really nice stuff. Also, let me again reiterate, with the Goku Black LR, the new LR, because these Goku Blacks, even though they're Super Saiyan Rose, because they're clones, you cannot feed them into that Goku Black. So even though you're looking at it as a, hey, this is Rose, remember, clone, not the same thing. Don't forget that, right? So obviously you have to use the Kais on that, on the Carnival, Goku Black. So important to remember there. All right, Int Goku Black. So Int Goku Black, the same lead, super attack effect, greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy. Raise allies' defense by 15% for 2 turns, and 50% chance to boost the super attack for, more power. As a second or third slot unit, orb changing tech to int. Same thing here, attack and defense plus 40% up to 200% per Future Saga ally, but here all allies will be boosting their attack and defense by 8% up to 40%. So he's giving some even more support per Future Saga ally with the clone and everything, more stats, and also all allies again boost attack and defense by 6% up to 30%. So 70% stat boost and everything, really awesome. All 5 extreme types boost to attack and defense. This is pretty much the same stuff. Also having a scouter. A scouter is really clutch. So the scouter, you have the other guy who has the physical one has a damage reduction and the guard and stuff. Powerful. 1 int key sphere recovers 10% HP, 12 or more key, attack and defense 200%, guards all attacks. Incredibly powerful. Let's keep going. Let's keep pushing. Let's just keep on chugging this through. Tech. So same lead, greatly raise attack and defense for 1 turn, supreme damage, seals. So seals the opponent right there, guaranteed seal by the way, 50% chance to transform and everything. As the second or third slot character, change AGL key spheres to tech key spheres, so second or third slot there. For him, same stat boost per Future Saga, but all enemies will lose their attack and defense by 8%, no more than 40% decrease. And if you got the clones, also boosting that kind of effect by 6% to 30, so 70% defense, stat decrease for the opponents. So powerful there. When all 5 types, you can interrupt the opponent, so that's actually really good too. 1 or more tech key spheres, he's boosting a damage reduction by 40% when receiving an attack from an enemy who's been hit by his super. So not as good, I would say, as the others, but still, it's something. 1 attack with 12 or more key, boosting the attack and defense, but also doing it again by the same amount when the target enemy is HP 60% or less, attack down, defense down, stun, or sealed. So he benefits off the debuffs. So, coolness right there, nothing to say there. AGL. AGL greatly raised attack and defense for 1 turn, cause supreme damage to the enemy, 50% chance to do his transform. So no special gimmick here, which means he has to be pretty nice here, right? So let's see. Second or third slot, STR to AGL orbs, same thing. Future Saga, same kind of buffs right here, but here, up to 50% chance to dodge, right? So he's boosting dodge chance by 10% up to 50% per clone and everything. He's boosting dodge chance again by 4% up to 20%, and he's boosting defense by 30% up to 150%. So 70% chance dodge right there. Pretty nice. With all 5 types, nice stat boost, and also all allies attack by 30% increase for 2 turns. 1 AGL key sphere, he's increasing dodge chance by 20%, which means, damn, this guy on a full clone team, which you basically want to do this anyways, he's able to get up to 90% dodge chance. 90% dodge chance. So obviously kind of like a dodge or die character, but crazy special potential. 1 attack with 12 more key, boost the attack and defense, and also launch 2 additionals, each of which has a great chance to become a super. So straightforward. For an AGL character, it's interesting that he's the dodge or die kind of character, not the int one, but still I like it. And then finally, we have the STR one. So massively raise attack, raise defense for 1 turn, cause supreme damage, and the transformation thing. Second slot or third slot, physical or STR orbs, boosting his stats and everything per Future Saga, and also boosting crit chance by 15% to up to 75%. With the clones, boosting crit chance by 5% up to 25%. So with this met, you can get guaranteed crits. You don't need to put a single ounce of crit into his build. You just go with additionals or dodge. So very simple there. And also with 5 types, boosting attack and defense by 150% when attacking with a super class enemy, specifically 1 STR orb, launch additional super, which again massively raise attack, so that's awesome there. And with 12 or more key, 200% to stats, and damage reduction rate increased by 20%. So again, the free-to-play, like these 5, Goku Blacks and everything, they are the exact same kits as their like other type counterparts, and you could run all 5, it would seem, so 2 teams right there. This is incredibly strong what they can do. Honestly, some of the best free-to-play teams, I have to wonder if they will be better than the Saiyan Saga team. I think they could be, but they're definitely going to be up there. Like, let's not get it twisted. Ginyu Force and Team Bardock, I think they need to be moved to the wayside just a bit, because these guys are coming into play. So honestly, I love what we got. I love when the free-to-play teams are so nice, so accessible, so cohesive. It gives a lot of players a good chance to clear a lot of easy content, especially for new players. This is the stuff the new players love to have because it makes things easier for them. So I'm so happy about that. When we look at also the Goku Blacks and everything, look at the categories they fit into. So Realm of Gods, Future Saga, Time Travelers, Inhuman Deeds, Corroded Body and Mind, Accelerated Battle, Power Wishes, all these categories, right? So that's like what, 11 categories? They can fit into any mission that requires these categories as a full team. So that covers a lot of bases that you're like, hey, I need a super bosses team. Hey, these guys can probably do a lot of work. Maybe not the real hard content, but a lot of work for sure. Same thing could be said for Power Beyond Super Saiyan, so on and so forth. So really great stuff. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the content. What content are we going to be able to look forward to? So with everything, we got the Ultimate Clash and everything. So that's, it'll be available in 2 parts. So part 1 is going to be happening right now. Part 2 will have a different thing. We got an Easy A special kind of thing for the Super Easy A medals for Goku right here. We got some new stages for Divine Wrath and Mortal Will. I'll go and check that in a sec. We have a new stage for Seriously Serious right there. Some new stages for Diamond stuff. So pretty simple stuff there. And also we have our special kind of event for the Goku Black. We'll check that in a sec. And the special kind of battle right here for some skill orbs. So some different kind of fights, different kind of cool stuff right here. You can get skill orbs and like a unique title. So if we go ahead and check this first, we'll go like through the events. So there are 2 stages right here, 3 different difficulties right here for the missions. Basically just beat those difficulties. You'll get a bunch of Dragon Stones, 18 Dragon Stones and skill orbs. So should be pretty straightforward, should be fun. I believe we can see who the character, yeah, here we go. So stage 2 is the Goku and Vegeta LR. They should be able to go back and forth, I believe, between the 2, like probably similar to like the countdown event was like a reversible exchange of the bosses. And that means, yeah, stage 1 is going to be, Goku Black and like Zamasu. So makes sense there. A lot of interesting gimmicks, by the way, boosting the attack. And this is going to be interesting. I wonder if there will be a lot more difficulty to this than I'm expecting. I don't think it'll be crazy, but we'll see. Like, it's gonna be cool. This is gonna be exciting. The more I look at this, the more hype I am for the Global Dokkan campaign. All right, with the Super Saiyan Rose. So Rose, you got 1 stage, not great for link leveling, so do bear that in mind, but you have a bunch of different missions. So you have to get a certain number of orbs, you have to clear a certain phase of the like different type bosses and everything, orbs, bosses, same thing right there. Clear the event multiple times, then all of a sudden you're getting all these copies of the Goku Blacks. Remember, these are just like the first 5 right here, like the special, like the same pose and stuff. You do get these other kind of Goku Blacks as well. So getting all that. And then right down here is the Dragon Stone. So you can get 5 Dragon Stones right here. You have to clear the event within 3 turns, 5 turns, and you have to do a certain amount of damage with a single attack, which should be pretty easy for a fight like this, for a content like this, where the bosses should not be that defensively strong. So you should be able to just like take Tao or take any character and just, nuke them off the face of the earth. So should be no problems there. And then lastly, the last like kind of major thing I want to focus on here is the Divine Wrath and Mortal Will. I mean, like the Seriously Serious, if we look at it, actually no, let me focus on Seriously Serious before I forget. So we do have the 3rd stage with Super Saiyan Trunks. He's got 2 phases right here, different super attack, like different gimmicks and stuff. With the missions, there are unique missions. So clear it, of course, and do it, like beat it with a team full of 6 superhero characters and 6 super bosses. So, it makes sense. Future Trunks kind of fits both molds, I guess, in terms of the timing of things. So it should be really straightforward. And then with Divine Wrath and Mortal Will, which I already have pulled up here, the final 2 stages are the boss rush kind of stuff for the extreme and super type. So basically, if we look at the level 11, this is all the bosses from the previous stages that feature super class characters. So the exact same setup, the exact same design from the previous stages. The same thing for the extreme type. So these are the same bosses from the previous stages above it. So important to note there, but there are still some new missions being added as well. So right here with the stage 10, you clear stage 10, you beat it within 7 turns, you'll get special kind of a boost, like special like medals to awaken the support memory, which we'll talk about in just a sec with the data download, so you have that. And for stage 11, beat it with a team full of 6 Future Saga characters. So this is going to be a fun time. This is going to be a fun time for sure. Honestly, I am excited to see what all we got going on. Obviously, this is kind of mentioning again like the limited time buffs and everything for Vegito and Rose. We may see some other buffs like this for part 2 of the Global Dokkan campaign, but for now, this is what we got so far, and honestly, they look really awesome. So it is what it is. Okay, now let's focus on the data download, talk about the general kind of stuff here. We'll look at the battle motions and everything, and also we'll talk about when will these characters drop, because technically they're going to be dropping in about an hour from now, so I have to like really upload this vid fast. But with the data download, shout out to Proton, a goat, of course. We got the new characters, we got, you know, the clones and everything. We got Giant Goma, who's the boss for the Daima stage and everything. We got a new Dokkan event and everything for the Dokkan Fest Goku and Vegeta. We got the new stage, of course, Divine Wrath. We got Daima. We got the new Dokkan event. Actually, that's different. This is, I believe, actually the clones. What I mixed that up, but that's the clones. This is the Dokkan event right here. Seriously serious special battle. The two super easy battles for Vegito and for Rose. New battlefield. All this stuff we pretty much saw, and also a burst mode. So we have all those things going on here. We got the movie, the promo movie stuff, the all these like different models and everything is whatever. Real quick, if we go ahead and just kind of look at the support memory. So the support memory from the special like Divine Wrath and Mortal Will stuff, if we look at that, basically we're giving 20% boost to stats in battle for Worldwide Chaos category allies and also Key and everything, so that's really good right there. And then if we keep on going, you know, it's got all the other kind of stuff right here for Vegito. So with the easy battle and stuff, his weakness is time travelers for Rose, it's Vegeta's family. Make sure to build those characters, have those easy characters and stuff. That's gonna be a point right there. We do have the banner assets. Let me go ahead and just kind of pull that up in a bigger kind of screen right here. So this is what we have for the banner so far. Now, there will be more hidden behind these banners. Let's not, you know, forget that. But this is the Dokkan Fest banner. So 7, you know, featured characters can be awakened to LR besides Champa. Champa's a T-War. But we got AGL Gogeta from the 10th anniversary. The 10th anniversary has returned. So the 10th anniversary characters, they will be on these banners, which is fantastic. Really great timing. Really awesome to see them return. I want a copy of Gogeta again. I want a second copy. I'm greedy like that. But Gogeta's here, Physical Super Saiyan Trio, Beast Gohan, of course the Goku and everything, so we'll see other kind of characters like that. For the Carnival Rose banners, you got Carnival Rose, you got Super Saiyan Blue Evolved Vegeta, you got Go Frieza, you got Tech Broly, and 9th Anniversary Gogeta. So there will be other characters in the background, you know, there's other characters hidden behind this banner, but this is going to be a fun time for sure. And also, let me not forget, you do get the special kind of summon points here 3 times with the multis, and you can get pity on this character, 500 coins to get him. So, you know, pretty straightforward, buy 3, get 1. Honestly, it's great. It's great stuff. It's great stuff. Okay, let's go ahead and check out the battle motions, and then we can go ahead and wrap up with the schedule and then kind of like wrap up this vid, because yeah, like I really got to upload this soon. So with the battle motions, with the data download, we got a bunch of battle motions. We got battle motions for Rose, Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue Goku, and Zamasu, so those 4, as well as Dragon Ball Z Broly, Base Broly, as well as Legendary Super Saiyan Broly from the first movie, not the second movie. So let's go ahead and just look at all these kind of animations right here. So with the battle motion, this is for Zamasu here. So let me make sure the audio is kind of just muted here, because there's no reason really to have it. Actually, the better way to do this, instead of doing that, let me just go ahead and just play this. So we have the full thing here with Dokkan World. So let me just kind of play right here. We start off with Broly. So Broly, Base Broly, no one seems to like this one. I think it's funny, but it is kind of silly because Broly's just slumped over. He literally is like pulling like a Kid Buu, where he's like falling asleep. So that's pretty funny, of course, in terms of what he's up to. Like it's just so silly. When you look at Broly's actual battle motion after the transformation, I really do like this one. I think it could be enhanced, but I really do like the aura. If he had the opportunity for the sphere to come around him with his ki, that would be pretty sick, but it's fine. Zamasu, pretty straightforward, kind of like, you know, like Dokkan Fest hit, nothing crazy there. Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta and everything, looking dapper, love the pose and everything. Goku, same thing, looking clean, of course. Can't be mad at it. And then finally, I believe the last one he shows is Rose. Rose to me is the cleanest, because he just has like the Subarashi pose or whatever. Like he just looks so fire. He's aura farming. Rose is so clean. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like a bunch of cool stuff right there. So I mean, yeah. All right, the last thing I want to make sure like talk about before I forget this and before we wrap up the vid, when will these all drop? So just to give you guys a bit of a timing, I guess, in terms of when I'm recording this and how long we got for the new characters, for the Super Easy, for Goku Black Hero, for the clones and everything, they will all drop in an hour from now. So I really got to edit this fast. The Super Easy though, for Vegeta Blue and Rose, they will come in 3 days. So be patient for those ones. Of course, you've probably seen gameplay through the private servers, but the rest of this will be coming in an hour. So hopefully you guys are saving up your stones. Hopefully you guys are excited. Hopefully you guys will have a great time with the campaign. In any case, we've already covered everything. Boy, was that a mouthful. I am dehydrated, but we're going to go ahead and wrap this vid up. Again, let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about the Global Dokkan campaign, all that we're getting? Honestly, I am so glad we got Future Saga and the way this is looking. I'm so glad they did these characters justice, because they feel amazing. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the vid, again, show your support, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel, all that sort of good stuff. Thank you all so much for watching. Take care, stay blessed. blessed, have a great global Dokkan campaign, and I will see you all in the next one.